Here's another update to my vintage audio gear. I made one in 2015, one in 2021, and now it's April the 14th. So where to start? Let's start down here. That's a Marantz 2325. Just had that completely gone through, new capacitors, etc. That's a Pioneer cassette deck. Not a very high end, but it plays really good. Recently acquired in the last few months, very rare American spec 117 volt acoustical quad 2 power amplifiers. These are so original. It's even the original what are they, GEC tubes, KT66. These are in such fine condition. I've recently acquired the Jones adapter, straight to any preamplifier. That's a Sony TC7884 quad deck. Whoops, get in line here. Plays beautiful. Did a bit of restoration work on that myself. And up there is the preamplifier for the quad power amps. Nice original piece. And the Marantz 2325 runs through 4 JBL speakers. Now, although they're centre speakers, they make a very good speaker. And the other two I've got up here on top of the racks. So there's a couple of miscellaneous preamps and little power amps. There's a pair of, I think they're about 1960 Jensen 12-inch speakers. Very good condition. Alright, let's come down this way a little bit. Alright, behind my laptop here is a so many things, I forget the numbers. TIAC A6300 auto reverse, fabulous deck. 375 and 7.5 speeds. Here's an Akai GX 270D SS quad deck. Beautiful. I have quite a few quadraphonic tapes, originals. Poor lighting here. Let's see if I can go this way with this. There you go. These are the rear speakers on my quad system. ESS AMT1A speakers. And underneath that I've got the front. I'm out of space, obviously. I mean, who puts that speaker on top of a Tannoy GRF? Well, I've got no room. And that's what that is down there. 1959 reproduction GRF cabinets. Tannoy LSU HF 15.8 Reds from 59. Unreal. I'm going to end it on that because there's nothing like it. Once you've heard it. I had a set in England when I was over there. In fact, I had 2 sets and regret selling them. Unfortunately, I found these in Florida on about 8 or 9 years ago, maybe more. They're a keeper. So as you can see, I'm very much into rack gear. I love rack mounted gear. You know, people pile their audio in bookcases and on top of each other. Although my Marantz 2325, as you can see, is in a wood cabinet. Chatsworth actually make a wider, these are a 19-inch standard rack. Chatsworth, and I have one of them, they make a 23.5-inch rack. And I'll have a few of the shelves, and eventually I'll put that Marantz 2325 in it. Because obviously the Marantz is too wide, even with the wood case taken off, for standard rack mount, which are all 19-inch. So the main hub of this, my whole system in here with, I think I've got 20 reel-to-reel tape decks. I think there's 13 in here. I've got them running through this distribution technology. This has got 16 inputs. It means if I want to play the Akai through the Macintosh system, it might be number 1. In fact, I've got a list of, too much to remember, might be number 1, and the TIAC A6300 might be number 2. So all I need is one amplifier, preamp, one amplifier, one set of speakers, and I can run 16 individual pieces through it, which I do. And this here, lovely piece of machinery, a Tascam MZ372 12 channel with its own preamp and EQ in here. This is a fabulous piece, and I've got a lot of the gear running through this and running through this. So here's, and everything works, by the way, and here's a Macintosh C26 original rack ears. Yeah, a lot of people think that Macintosh didn't make rack ears, but they did. They might not have made them, they might have bust them in, but okay. And these things are beautiful. These power conditioners. Obviously, you need these to hook all the gear up. And I play guitar and sing. Well, I'm the only one who thinks I can sing. And this is a great machine. This Vocalist Live Pro. Right, here's a rack mount CD player, Tascam. Here's a Macintosh C28 preamplifier. I made the rack ears for that myself. Here's a Macintosh MC2105 power amplifier. And that I've got running through, well, let me stop there. Here's a UMIG T1000 tuner. I have 2 of those. And here's a fabulous amp. It's a BMB, made in Japan. What is it called? A BA3000. I think it's 300 watts a channel, or maybe 150 watts a channel. But it's got toroidal transformers in it, and it plays beautiful. And that I've got running through the tannoys. All the EQs run through different tape decks. You know, I have a list of what goes where. Otherwise, I could just never remember it. It's too much. It tells me what button to press and what's playing. So, there's another PV-EQ. This dual effects, I run that through the Akai quad deck. It's the front channel. Nice piece, really enhances the sound tape. 8 tracks I still play. This is a good, well, that was a cheap deck in its day. Still plays good. I have about 15 of these Furman and other makes of power conditioners. It's a very rare amplifier. Power amplifier 2 channel, a Lee Jackson perfect connection. You won't find that anywhere. That's extremely rare. Now my quadraphonic, for the front I'm using the C26 BMB power amp through the tannoys. The rear, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, here's the rear amplifier. That's an ART SLA1A. That's a good amplifier. Not a lot of money, but when it's played through these ESS AMT1A speakers, fabulous. Here's a workhorse of a deck. I have a couple of these, love these. Pioneer. I forget the numbers of half of this stuff. Anyway, it's a 707. RT707, I think. Anyway, beautiful. Direct drive. That's a workhorse, that deck. If you ever want just a reel-to-reel deck that looks good, even if you don't have the rack to put in, because these are made for rack mount, that's a very good deck. And here I've got rack lights. This one is for my turntable, and this one I made a drawer for it, metal drawer. I bought a piece of steel off eBay so I can bring it right out. That's a Technics SLQ3, not the highest end deck, but plays very well. And that's a great design, that I can bring it out. And underneath that we've got Behringer. That's an Ultra Gain 2 preamplifier. From my Tascam 32, that one up there, it goes through this preamp, through an EQ up there, and then into the C26 via this distribution pieces. Here's another quad deck, TIAC A2340, that's a good workhorse deck. And underneath that, I've just put in an Atari deck in here, which I've been testing out because I restored it. And so it's a little bit hard to see that down there is a UMIG preamplifier, UMIG tuner, and a JVC KD95 cassette deck. That's a really high-end cassette deck. And while I'm down here, here's a Tascam 42B, Tascam 32, Tascam 32 there. They are such a great deck. And here I have another Tascam. This one I picked up recently. It's like a 910 condition. I mean, it's a beautiful piece. And that's on these Swans speakers, which run through the Macintosh 2105 power amp and the C28. Now the good thing about Macintosh, you can run 2 power amps off of 1 preamplifier. Now not much light here because I'm out of space, but that's a Dynaco ST70, plays beautiful. It's on a, that runs through a set of von Schweikert, I think they're called S2 speakers, bit hard to see them down there. And here's a Macintosh 250, which runs through, I think that runs through the C28, you know, I can't remember. Anyway, they all work beautiful, and the speakers for that Macintosh, although they're not that great, they're not bad either. They're Klipsch, one up there, one round the corner. Of course, the wiring at the back of this rack gear is like spaghetti junction, which I just happen to love it actually. So anyway, let's move it on round here. Okay, a bit more light here. A little bit of surplus rack gear up there. Recently acquired this DAT player. They play very well. That all works. Again, see that rack mounted? Standard rack. Well, it's a studio piece, I know that. Ampex HER 700. Very good deck. Found the rack ears for that, which are very hard to come by. Underneath that I have an Akai, what is it? GX 265D auto reverse deck. That plays very well. Very good deck. And these are just power strips down there. Alright, moving along a little bit. Again, I've got these, all these lights, beautiful. Here is a Pioneer RT 1011L, very good deck. More lights, let's get these out. That's a Revox B77, is that right? B77 Mark II, yep. That plays beautiful. Not a high-speed deck though, it's 375 and 7.5, 2-track. Here's an Effectron, that's got a rare piece. Guitar gear, sound shaper thing. There's my guitar amp, one of them there. And that's a Hart bass amplifier. Obviously I'm out of space because I have I think I have another 4 or 5 racks that I could fill if I had the room. But the sound is fantastic. Vintage audio, unreal. Alright, we might as well say hello to Nancy Sinatra while we're here, because she sent me that picture and signed it. It's another story, another video even. Joplin the movie, I was involved in that, another story. Alright, and okay, let's just go this way a little bit. Not a lot of light out here. Here's a Marantz. What number is that? 2238B. That's beautiful. I have several Marantz pieces. There's my other RT707. This one is mint. Can't wait to put it in a rack. And underneath that I've got the JBL L200 speakers. They are fabulous. All original, except for the grills. Grills are not original. So just moving around here a little bit. A few of my guitar amplifiers, which I play guitar when I get the time to do it. Alright, a couple of pieces here in the laundry room that I've been tinkering around with. That's another Atari MX5050 B2. What a fabulous deck they are. Good thing about these decks is they're 375, 7.5 and 15 IPS. They're 2-track and they're 4-track. All of that is in one deck. You can only record on 2-track, but you can play back 2-track and 4-track. And there's a switch in the back for high speed, 15 and 7.5, or you can switch on the back, put you to low speed, 7.5 and 3.75. They are a fabulous deck.